The Leaderman Fellowship empowered me to believe that I could be a good teacher. In my first year as a fellow, my teacher that I worked with in the classroom identified that I would be a great teacher, and I was like, well, I don't know what that looks like. So she helped me to think about what kind of teacher I would want to be, and helped me develop those skills early on.
The Leaderman Fellowship is really important because we need to make sure that our young men have an opportunity to succeed. We also need to make sure that children are able to see themselves in their teachers.
There's tons of research that talks about the impact of Black teachers, in particular Black male teachers, on Black students. A narrative around Black masculinity for all people in society to understand that Black men are greater than musicians and athletes. There's nothing wrong with being a musician and an athlete. Some of the most powerful leaders in our community are teachers.
We understand that not all young men will become educators for the rest of their lives. Some of them may choose 3, 4, 5 years of service.
My basketball coach at the time, he basically sent me a flyer of the Leaderman Fellowship and said, hey, I think you should look into this. Mind you, I have no experience with children, so I thought he was completely left field. But I took what he said and I applied and did the interview. It got back to me, and next thing I know, I was going to Ascend, learning everything that I know about the Leaderman Fellowship.
The coaches take care of everything from melding schedules with teachers and fellows to make sure all 9 of their songs that they have to sing in a classroom every day, as well as sign in and read aloud with the children, all blend together seamlessly.
But that time in the classroom is incredibly impactful, not just for the child, but also for that young man who may choose to say, hey, I can do this as a long-term career. I see the impact I'm having in my community by being a teacher.
The Leaderman Fellowship has had a significant impact on my career as a teacher, from helping me get connected to resources for the praxis, to talking to the right folks at DCPS, to making and building relationships with school principals and teachers.
Also, coaches kind of mingle with everyone in their buildings the fellows are going into. They have to speak with the security staff to make sure that the fellows are welcome when they get there.
And then the folks at the Literacy Lab really empowered me to believe that I could do it. Looking at the data of the first year of how I was able to push my students from furthest from readiness to closest and to kindergarten readiness and literacy. So I just took that and said, well, if I can do this in 1 year, imagine what I can do with the whole classroom. And I think that every time someone asks me how I got started, I always have to start with the Literacy Lab, because they gave me my first opportunity to be in the classroom, to be in the school, and to learn how to lead not just children, but to lead in a school community.
The Literacy Lab has done an amazing job, not just of scaling the program, but ensuring the fidelity of the program, watching it evolve, but also standing in solidarity with other organizations, also working to ensure teachers of color are front and center to the change that we want to see in our communities.
Where we want young men to say yes to education in excellence, integrity, and care just for 1 year.
That first year really showed me that, like, I know I want to work with kids. I know I want to be in the classroom.
The Leaderman Fellowship has had a significant impact on my career as a teacher. I am a teacher because of the Leaderman Fellowship program.
My advice to the upcoming Leaderman Fellow is simple. Be yourself. Be you authentically. And I mean that in a way as everybody brings something different and unique to the table.
The ripple effect is just like when you throw a pebble into a body of water and those waves kind of fan out and ripple. That's how the fellowship works. We put a fellow in the classroom, which is that stone going into the water, and he affects the students. That's one ripple. The teachers, that's another layer of ripples. The school catches some of those waves, but we also impress the parents and all of the community, because they then have a different view of what a young man of color looks like, what he can do, and how he's important. And they don't have to go by stereotypes because you can see that ripple effect.